Hello and welcome everybody into another episode of Arsenal Fan Circle. Um, you have myself and Gundit News, my co-host here. This is episode 11 of our first season, and I'm sure everybody is really bored of the interlull right now. So, Gundit News, introduce yourself to everybody. The international break is driving us all crazy. We were not involved last weekend in FA Cup action, and now we have another 8 days here, and the international break is we still have a way to go. And so what I thought we struggle every week to bring really good content. We could put anything out there for you guys, but we want to put quality content out there to our subscribers who we want to bring something new every week. So Gundit News and I were racking our brains a little bit on Thursday and Friday, and we finally realized on maybe yesterday what we were going to do. So today we're going to do a Premier League show. We're going to preview and review all of the 20 teams. Instead of starting from top to bottom, we're going to start from bottom to top. And we're going to talk about all things about those clubs. I mean, how we have fared against those teams ourselves, who we have to play yet this season, Gundit, and their coaches, and also the players on teams that we particularly have a fond dislike for. Noe, thanks for coming in, Noe. So we have Noe Donna's here with us. Noe, are you starved of Arsenal content? Are you how are you faring this break, Noe? I will wait for his response there, but let's start from bottom to top. And there were some interesting things. Both of us have done research into this Premier League season so far. So let's take the bottom club right now. We've got Huddersfield. What? Yeah. Noe has said it's so boring. Absolutely. No, we have to agree with that 100%. So Huddersfield, they brought in a new manager, Jan Sewert, a third division coach from Germany, and I want to tell you their form ranking. Also, I did check the form figures on the last 6 games for everybody. Their form ranking out of 20 is 19, so they have not fared very well at all. They're pretty much doomed to be relegated, and that's it. They're going to prepare for life in the next league, right, Gundit? High likability. I could not find any players that I disliked or have a particular hatred for because we did win both games. They weren't easy games for us. We did win back in December. That late goal from our friend Lucas Torreira at the Emirates. Pretty much that was one of the weekends that spawned our Arsenal fan circle because Gundit News and I were talking all the way through that game. And I kept telling him to, didn't I? I kept telling you to chill out. We'll be okay. We'll get the goal we need. Yeah, yeah. So that's Huddersfield. They're they've only won one game in the last six. And welcome in a third person to the chat room. Um, we have Noe and we have another person. So if you have a question or if you just want to say hello, drop something in the chat box down there. Unless you're not in there, Gundit, are you? Sometimes you clear it up in the chat room. Not at the moment. So Huddersfield, we are going to say are going to get relegated. We're not putting their necks on the line there. It looks pretty sure. Noe has said that he hates the international break and he wants his Arsenal back. No, you have to wait another 8 days. Our next game is Newcastle on April 1st, Monday. No, yeah. London Old School, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you always coming to talk to us. So we have Noe, we have London Old School. We have a couple of other people. We would love to be interactive with all of you. Please drop a text, just say hello. We can say hello back. How are we surviving? London Old School, how are you surviving this break? So while we wait for London Old School to reply, he's saying hello to Noe in there. But we have Fulham that's next. We've just talked about Huddersfield. Fulham, they have a new manager in Scott Parker. Do you think that he can turn things around? They are on 17 points. They've got a long way to go to get to that safety line. Their form in the last six games is 20 out of 20. They have lost all six of their last games. Yeah, with only eight games left for everybody, if they were to get magically 24 points, that would only get them to 41 points. So we are safely saying, I think, that Fulham are going to go down, also along with Huddersfield. Um, at the start of the season, I was thinking he might have been a good acquisition, but I'm not really feeling the same way about John Michel Seri. London, yeah, I think we kind of dodged the bullet there. We got Terraria in, and who can? Are they similar positions? Who could say they're not? Terrera is not a better signing. Um, Now, I'm going to try and get Matt here. If you could speak a little bit louder, I'm not sure if Noe can hear you. Um, Ryan Sessegnon, since Fulham are going to be relegated. So Gundit News is asking if we should go for Ryan Sessegnon since Fulham is going to be relegated. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, but I just don't know if he's the quality that we need. You know, do we need better quality than Ryan Sessegnon? So I don't know if you guys can still hear Gundit News. Maybe Gundit might drop into the messages as well instead. Why don't you just do that for now, Gundit, and we've had some technical difficulties leading up to this broadcast. Okay, so see you later, Gundit. He's going to drop into the chat section, so I'm going to go solo here, and hope that you guys can support me in the actual chat section. So let's see what we're doing here, and hope that you guys can support me. All right, so when we plan these things, they're usually supposed to go a little bit better than this. So um, thanks for staying with us, everybody. So Noe has said that he can play left wing or left back, and he agrees with Sessegnon that he's a quality player. So yeah, while we wait, I'm going to push on. Um, Hopefully, the rest of the show can get a little bit better than this. Thanks for sticking with me, everybody. Um, Cardiff City. Now, unfortunately, Cardiff City had a very, very uh, terrible thing happen to them with the transfer window when one of their players that they'd signed from Nantes, I believe, was a French club. And rest in peace, Salah, who didn't make it across the water. So all of our thoughts are with his family and, of course, the person who was flying the plane as well. Let's not let that go unnoticed as well. But Cardiff City have had a very, very tough time. Um, Noe has said that Cardiff City will stay up. Now, I actually agree with you, Noe, because in the form charts in the last 6 games, they are 11th in the form charts. They've won actually 3 out of their last 6 games. So that is very decent form. And I believe that Cardiff will get out of that last relegation spot. And but I want to give shout outs for now. This is one player that I like to dislike, or I hate to use the word hate, but because people take the word hate and take it to too much of a degree. But I really, really, really dislike Harry Arter. Harry Arter. He's one of those players. Yes, rest in peace, Noe, for Salah and the pilot. A terrible thing that happened to Cardiff, and I just love the solidarity that the supporters had and the rest of the world had for Cardiff City. They have a good coach. They have Neil Warnock is a pretty decent coach, and he will get the best out of that team for the rest of the season. They're sitting on 28 points. They're just 2 points away from the relegation, getting out of relegation. So I think that they will get out of it. But Harry Arthur is one of those players that I kind of dislike. But you know, players like that, they have to try to get the team going. We all know that you have to have grafters in your team to try and get yourself out of a fight. Gundit news. The solidarity was such a beautiful thing worldwide. Yeah, absolutely. Moving on, then, if anyone has anything to say about Cardiff City, I think we all believe. And if anybody is new in the chat section, please just say hello so we can say hello back to you. We have 5 people in the chat section now, and I love that we're having people are starved in this break now. We're halfway through this break. We're going to get some Arsenal back next Monday. But please just say hello, everybody. We've got 5 people in the chat section. So we believe, just to recap, that Fulham and Huddersfield will get relegated. And we believe Cardiff, who have had a hard time with the unfortunate death of the soccer player Salah and the pilot, rest in peace, that Cardiff will get out of the relegation trouble. Now let's move on to Burnley. This is particularly a team that we have a history with Burnley. Sean Dyche really doesn't like us too much, and I have a player or two. I have one player from that team that I particularly like to dislike, and that is Ashley Barnes, who actively tries to get other players booked, but in particular our players booked. So Noe has said the only football player that I hate is Jesse Lingard. I can't stand that little rat. No, we will get to Jesse Lingard. We're starting from the bottom up to the top. So we're going to get to the cream of those people that we dislike in football. Burnley are 17th in the form table. They have won 2 out of their 6 games. So, yeah, Burnley have gotten 2 wins out of the last 6. So they are kind of treading water where they're at, where they are right now. We've had some issues, and we will play Burnley the last game of the season, I believe. That may be. I'm really hoping that we can sew up our top 4 status at that point, that we don't have to get into a battle with Burnley. And yes, the London Old School, hopefully Burnley go down and we beat them in the last game. And hopefully it's a game where we can play freely and, we can maybe rest some players. Hopefully we're going to be going to a Europa Cup final that we're going to be resting some players. We don't need those points. Exactly, Gundit news. Hopefully by then we're already qualified. But Ashley Barnes and the manager, Sean Dyche, are 2 individuals that I dislike from the Burnley team. But they've had a little bit of an upsurge before those last 6 games, but they seem to have evened off now. And they will be in the relegation fight. Like I said, we think Cardiff will get out of it. I'm glad that 5 people are staying with us. We have a great attendance today. People are starved of Arsenal. So we're talking about all things Arsenal. If you're new to the channel, just say hello in the comments section. Go in the live chat and say hello. We've got Gundit News in there, my co-host, and 2 of my regulars, London Old School and Noe Donna. So thanks so much for everybody coming in. The next team we're going to talk about is Southampton. Hassan Hüttl. We know all about Hassan Hüttl. His first game for Southampton was against us when we had some injuries and we were not at our best. Koscielny was coming back and he probably needed this game or 2. And we got kind of, Spurs lost down there as well. So not that we're using Spurs as the yardstick. But we lost down there at St. Mary's 3-2. And I was looking at the home and away charts, everybody. So my research was extensive. And Southampton stood out to me as They are ninth. They're ranked ninth in their home form. They've gotten 10 points in the last 6 games. Saints are staying up. London Old School. London Old School believes they will stay up. I also believe they will. Um, they have won two, drawn one, and lost three out of the last 6 games, but they have the spirit to stay up. Um, but a player that we all know from Southampton is Charlie Austin, and that is a player I highlighted, somebody who I love to dislike because he always turns up against Arsenal. And also an Irish international, Shane Long. He's given us some trouble over the years. But I think Hassan Hoodle has done a good job with Southampton. The next team after that, and this is a team that I fear may drop into the relegation zone and be relegated. I fear Brighton will be relegated. They have won two, drawn one, and lost three of the last 6 games, and they are 13th out of 20 in terms of their recent form. They're on 33 points right now, by no means safe. Even though Chris Hughton is a former Tottenham player, I can't really get angry or feel any dislike towards Chris Hughton. They don't really have any players that I dislike. And yes, some of it is for Chris Hughton is that he's a former Irish international. So I have played a little bit of bias right there for him. But he's a former Tottenham player that I never had a problem with. And again, my bias being Irish might play into that. But let me know what you guys think in there in the comments section. Um, so the Saints and Brighton. The next team we're going to talk about is Crystal Palace. Now, looking at the home and away charts, and this is a little bit scary for us because we're going to play Crystal Palace. But does everybody realize that their away form in the last 6 games, they're ranked number 2 out of 20 playing away from home, and they're going to come to the Emirates next month. Crystal Palace are a very, very dangerous team away from home. So we really, really need to take care of business. We have 5 games away from home. Speaking about Arsenal right now, we have 5 games away from home and 3 at home, and we really need to be 100% at home. Crystal Palace have a great record away from home. They've gone to Manchester City and beaten them over Christmas time. But more recently, and I just mapped the form for the last 6 games, Crystal Palace are ranked second. They've gained 13 points in the last 6 games. So that is quite staggering from what I see here. Their last 6 away games, that is. Gundit news. London Old School and Noe, there will be a battle to stay out of the bottom 3. Add another 3 teams to that. And Noe said, once a Tottenham player, always a Tottenham player. He will always be shit in my eyes. That's fair enough. I have to agree with you there. Gundit news. We have to keep our momentum going and our heads up. And no, he agrees with that. London Old School, Fulham, Huddersfield, Burnley to go down. Okay, so we have got somebody out there who's watching us, and that's okay if you want to watch, that's fine. But we really appreciate you coming on. But Crystal Palace is dangerous. Roy Hodgson has a decent team there, and I'm going to ask the panel, all you guys. Do you realize or did you notice that Saha is playing really, really well now? Maybe toward the end of the season when he may get a transfer. Just saying that, just putting it out there. Players seem to play really well when they think they're going to get a nice payday at the end of the day. So that's Crystal Palace. Overall, they've gained 17 points, but they're a dangerous away team. So we need to take care of business. Don't take Crystal Palace lightly. They're going to be dangerous. Zaha is a good player. London Old School, we should look at him. He's a good player. He would be a very, very dangerous player, and he would play very, very well with Lacazette and Aubameyang. The next team is Newcastle, and they are ranked, believe it or not, fifth in form figures in the last 6 games. So Rafa Benitez is getting a rattle out of Newcastle. Um, I think we should go for Saha, Noe Donis. Noe Donis, should we sign Saha? We could do worse than trying to get him. I think if we only buy 2 players and one of them would be a winger and one of them would be a top class centre back, that would be good business this summer, you know. And we could spend a reasonable amount of money on each one, you know. Zaha definitely knows the Premiership, so he would not be able to. He would be able to hit the ground running. Newcastle, they have won 3, drawn 2, and lost only 1 out of the last 6 games. So Rafa Benitez is doing quite well as a coach. I don't have any players listed from Newcastle that I really, really don't like. Um, and the players that we dislike are the ones that are in competition with us higher up in the table. And Newcastle are a comfortably mid-table team now, 35 points with them. Um, they are ranked 4th at home, so their home form recently is very, very good. Newcastle's home form recently is very, very good. Moving on to the next team, Bournemouth, team that we comfortably beat home and away, and they are, I believe, they are ranked the least tackling team in the league. So they're not physical, but they're a decent team and they're dangerous on their day. We took care of business against Bournemouth at home. We won, I think, 5-1. The game that Guendouzi made a mistake in, had trying to walk out of his own penalty box. And then we did take care of business away from home versus Bournemouth. Eddie Howe is doing nothing but enhancing his reputation, I believe. So Bournemouth are a tidy little team. They're 18th out of 20 in terms of form. So their form is not great lately. Um, but they are on 38 points. It seems like Bournemouth might be a team that are already looking at the summer for their holidays. So Noe Donna says, but we need a centre back though. I'm interested in the Ligt from Ajax. Completely agree with you, Noe. We do need a centre back. Gundit News. Did you know Emery said apparently he doesn't think Suarez has the physicality to cope in the Premier League? I hope Suarez can get some minutes for the end of the season. Otherwise, what really was the reason in bringing him over? Maybe it's already been predetermined that Suarez is going to be signed permanently in the summertime. Noe, Gundit News says Noe and Los Manolas, Koulibaly, Rugani, and Alderweireld are possibly centre back options. And then London also said Leicester put a 90 million price on Maguire. I don't know, London School, if Maguire is going to be the player that we want him to be. Can he step up another notch, which is what we would probably be asking him to do? I don't know. Maybe Manchester United will go for him and maybe make the mistake to go for him. The next team we're going to talk about, and we're getting towards mid-table now, is Everton. Team that's going to be dangerous. Away from home, we need to play them at Goodison Park. But they are 15th out of 20 in terms of recent form. They've won 2 games and drawn 1 and lost 3. They're a different kind of team. Everton are very hard to read. They can play against the best, and then really don't turn up against lesser teams. I feel like we're going to catch them on an off week because they have been getting results, most noticeably last weekend versus Chelsea. So I think we're going to catch Everton. This is just my gut telling me we're going to catch Everton. We usually do well at Goodison Park. If everyone remembers last season, I think it was a 5-2 result where all of our top players clicked. Lacazette, Aubameyang, I think Aubameyang was playing then, and Ozil and other players. So, but they do have Marco Silva. Some people wonder if he will survive this season. I don't know what you all think about Marco Silva, but one of the players I tend to dislike is Richarlison, and this is because he's a talented player, not really because he's dirty or anything like that. Um, but Richarlison is a player. Um, so that's Everton. They're on 40 points. We're getting towards teams right now. These are teams, and we're going to face Everton that they've gotten pretty much to the safe benchmark in their season. They're not going to get relegated. They've reached the 40-point mark with about 8 games to go. Are they looking? Is Everton looking to the summer holidays? You know? Yeah, got nothing against Marco Silva, but Gundit, will he? Is he going to cut it? Is he going to be there next season versus the other teams? That remains to be seen. Now, Leicester City. As they know, he said, to be honest, Marco Silva is a fraud. I wouldn't be surprised if he's sacked in the end of the season. It's very much possibility, Norway. I think Everton is a team that's going to chop and change. Let me know what you think on that one. Also, London Old School. Everton is a team that the ownership might chop and change and see what happens there. They need to see something more. And maybe they did that versus Chelsea recently, where they did beat them. Let me see what Everton's home form is like. They're ranked 12th in the last 6 games. Their home form is not so hot. All right, so moving forward, we're going to get to those players that we really really dislike now. Ian, London Old School. London Old School said that Everton are building a new stadium. So that's, I mean, we've all seen, we know with our own team when we were building a new stadium what it takes. The team kind of takes a downturn in what they're doing. So we'll see what happens there. Now, next team is Leicester City. As we all know, they changed their coach as well. Brendan Rodgers, who some people had mooted him to be the Arsenal uh, acquisition. Um, but I never really rated Brendan Rodgers that highly. I think he's mismanaged some of the players. But and one of the players for Leicester City that I really, really have a dislike for is Jamie Vardy. And I don't know how I would have felt if we would have signed him a few seasons back at all. Um, Jamie Vardy, yeah. And what a pair, Jamie Vardy and Brendan Rodgers. Maybe Harry Maguire would really want to get out of there. Um, they are on 41 points, and their form in the last 6 games is they're 10th out of 20. Um, Also, a team that we're going to face away from home. London Old School said, tricky team can be good on their day or very poor. Yeah, generally they give us a good game, which I think we are going to be in a position where we have a possibility where we could possibly lose a game or maybe two and still make it. I wouldn't like to lose 2 games, but if we're going to lose one game, it could be at Leicester City or it could be at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Uh, Jamie Vardy is too cocky, says Gundit News. That is Leicester City. Do you guys have any other players that you dislike as we push up into this higher echelons of the league. Let me know what players you do not like. Um, Here's another team that I have three players that I don't like. London Old School said the team were in Thailand for chairman's funeral rites yesterday. Oh wow. Okay, so for Leicester City was in Thailand, and let's not go without mentioning their fantastic owner, who another person who unfortunately has left us and is not with us anymore. They're the former Leicester City owner. That was a really, really tragic thing that happened. Also, rest in peace. But the next team is West Ham. Now I've got three players, as I said, from West Ham. One of them is a former Arsenal player, Samir Nasri. Um, we all dislike Samir Nasri very, very much. And Arnautovic is another one, and Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll seems to have come on against us in many, many years gone by and done damage to us. So he's a player I don't like. Oh, and thank you. London Old School has said Mark Noble. He really, really hates Mark Noble because he's just like a dirty player. London Old School. And but Pellegrini, he's a coach that I actually like. So I have mixed feelings about West Ham. Perhaps Tottenham fans will have more of a hatred for West Ham than Arsenal do. Yes, going back to the Leicester owner, he was a top man, and he did give everything for his beloved Leicester. He's beloved there, and his son, I think, is doing a great job continuing on in his legacy. And West Ham's form is also like a yo-yo. We did beat them in our first. West Ham was our first win at home. We won 3-1. One of those games where we kind of needed the points. It was 2-1 until the end, and we finished it right at the end, I believe, with an Iwobi goal. And then, unfortunately, we did have an off day at their ground as well. We were beaten 1-0. And people will point to these things um, against Arsenal and say that it was, you can't win every game away from home. So they're going to point to that was a bad day at the office. So the next team we're coming into is Watford. Um, and Watford is a team that is dangerous. They're involved in the FA Cup. And the player that I don't like for Watford is Troy Deeney. Their manager or coach is Javi Garcia. And yeah, Watford, we're going to play them away from home, but I'm going to group Watford and Wolves together because they're both still involved in the FA Cup. And I really, really hope that the FA Cup is a distraction to them. There are two games away from home for us, but they're both like mid-table teams. Watford is seventh in terms of their recent form. They've won 3, drawn 1, and lost 2 games. They're a dangerous team, but like I said, I hope that they are feeling safe in the league, and I hope that they are concentrating on their FA Cup. We had James Rowe on last week, and he talked about a friend of his is a Watford fan, and last weekend we did talk about the FA Cup as well, the allure and the history of the FA Cup, and I actually think that Watford could do quite well in the FA Cup along with Wolves. Manchester City might just take their eye off the ball a little bit, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say Wolverhampton Wanderers or Watford will go ahead and win the FA Cup, and that is a bold prediction. So Gundit News has said a smaller team should win the FA Cup. Noe said Troy Deeney, the human koala bear. He does look like a bear, right? And Gundit News says, I think Watford will lose their cojones against us. Okay, so all of that being said, that Watford will be distracted and we will get a win away from home, a much needed win for us. Moving on to the next one, I just briefly touched on Wolverhampton Wanderers. They're on 44 points. They're having a fantastic season. They are the best of the rest. Outside the top six, they are the top of the pack, chasing the top six. Now, there's 13 points difference between the next team above them and where they are right now. And in the form table, they're 12th out of um, out of 20. They've won two games, drawn three, so they're a pretty handy team. Won two, drawn three, and lost only one out of the last six games. I think Nuno Espirito Santo should be named the coach of the year. Now, obviously, if Emery goes on to get top four or third place and win the Europa League, there's a case to be made for Emery to be coach of the year. But I would go ahead and say right now, Wolverhampton Wanderers have done amazingly well. That coach, he's never in the limelight. He's just doing all of the right things. He's very respectful, and his team just goes out and plays wonderful football, and they're very difficult to break down. London Old School says Wolves away will be very challenging. I will take right now, if you put that on the table, I'll take right now a draw away to Wolves. Definitely. I think Nuno has definitely got a case to be one of the top coaches this season. Um, they're not a flashy club, so they're not like in the limelight. So maybe that might count against them, which I think is unfair and unfortunate. London Old School agrees with Gundit News. It says fantastic manager. They will give us a game, and in some ways, I'm kind of happy that we're going to have some difficult games as well. I mean, we don't want to get top four really, really easily. We want to challenge ourselves, and we'll also keep us sharp for the Europa League as well. I'm hoping that we can go deep in the Europa League, but we did talk about that last weekend. We have Napoli away from home first. So now we're getting into the top six people, and this is where we can really talk about players that we really, really hate. Save the best for last, as it were. Chelsea, they are on 57 points. Their form recently, they're ranked ninth out of 20. They have won three games, drawn one, and lost two of their last six. Sorry, ass ball. I think that was the best comment this year so far from Noe. Uh, in one of our previous podcasts, Noe has said, sorry, ass ball, which stuck with me, Noe. I'm sorry. That was very funny. Two players I really, really hate on Chelsea is David Luiz and Marcus Alonso. Now, I still go back to what Alonso did to Bellerin a few years ago. And, we're all biased, we're all Arsenal fans here. But I think what he did to Bellerin was shocking. And players like, former players like Alan Shearer and people like that, um, they excuse such behavior. If you're leading with your elbow and you basically knock Bellerin out in the process of scoring a goal, I I just disagree with that. I just disagree with that, and it's not right. Gundit News hates Eden Hazard and Alonso, so we agree with each other there. We don't agree with Alonso. We don't like Alonso. Um, he is a despicable footballer, somebody who I do not like. And my brother-in-law at the start of the season, when we were talking about the coaches, he thought that Sarri was a better coach than Emery. Well, I think we all know now that through the course of the season, things have been proved that Emery has been doing much better job than Sarri. Um, yeah, we still love Olivier Giroud as well. Gundit News, he's still a gunner at heart. No, he does. Marco Alonso is the Pablo Escobar with the weed angry rant man. So yeah, Marco Alonso. He is probably one of the players that I dislike the most in football in general. Um, we used to hate. I think we used to hate Chelsea a lot more than we do now. Um, Abramovich has just stopped putting money into that team, and we used to hate them more because they were like they didn't have the history. They just came to prominence in the last 15 to 20 years, and they don't have history. You know, we all fell into loving this club in different ways, and I'm just happy that I found Arsenal, and they are the team for me. Now let's move on to Manchester United. Of course, Jesse Lingard, one of the players we all hate. He's a talented player, but you don't come on our pitch and start dancing like it's a dance floor. Jesse Lingard, we hate you. We hate you. Two more on my list for Manchester United players. Ander Herrera. He's a sneaky little fuck. I hate him. I hate Ander Herrera. And Ashley Young. You know, the thing about Ashley Young is I would probably love him if he was an Arsenal player because he's full of energy and endeavor. He'll do a job. He'll do a job. Um, he will do a job for the coach, whoever he is. But he's just spawned out of he's like a Mourinho player, and I don't like Ashley Young at all. You know, he gets involved in things on the pitch that he doesn't need to get involved in. Herrera is another one. London Old School said Pogba and punchable face Lingard. Yeah, so we do hate them all, but I don't know if everybody agrees with me. I hate more Tottenham players than I hate Manchester United players. So Gundit news. I hate their cocky ass fans. Can't wait to see Barca annihilate them. And when Barca annihilates them, that's the end of their season, pretty much. Um, what does it? They're probably going to fight with Tottenham now for fourth place. Um, and you let me know who you want for fourth place. Let's all hope that we can get third place. Let all of you know. Let you all know me. Let you all know. Tell me who you want for fourth place. Do you want Tottenham in fourth place, or do you want Manchester United in fourth place? Uh, Solskjaer. We kind of hate Solskjaer as well, right? They had their cocky run where they caught up to us a little bit, but I'm really glad that this Arsenal team, in the mold of Emery, stood up to them and beat the hell out of them last week. Um, could not stand Manchester United fans lording over us. Um, London Old School said Arsenal third, Man United fourth, Spurs fifth. All right, we'll take that. We'll take Spurs back in the Europa League. Um, but could not take Manchester United going above us. I'm so happy that we are in a decent position. We are 2 points ahead of Manchester United right now. We have an easier run in. The players are in Dubai right now, getting a rest. Some of them are on international duty. But when we come back in 8 days' time and play Newcastle, that needs to be 3 points in the bank. And because these teams around us, Manchester United, Tottenham, and Chelsea, will gain points. I think Tottenham are playing Liverpool. They may not gain points, but we need to take care of business on Monday. Um, so Lingard, Herrera, Ashley Young. Manchester United are fourth in the form table, and that's why we're so happy that we beat them um, recently. handed them an L, you know, handed them an L. Noe Donis says top three teams he hates: Spurs number one, Spurs number two, and Spurs number three. I didn't even read that all. I just sort of discovered that as you said that, Noe. That's funny. London Old School, we need to win 6 out of the 8 games. I agree with you, London Old School. I think if we get 18 points, that is going to be enough. We'll be on 78 points. That will be enough for us. And we only need to worry about what we're going to do this season. Let's not worry about everybody else here. The next, with Manchester United, I did look at the home and away form for them. They are number one away from home. Manchester United are, and I don't know how that could be even true because we beat them at the Emirates. But this is what that website gave me, and they're number 6 away at home. Now let's talk about ourselves. Arsenal, the mighty Arsenal. We're in third place on 60 points. We are third in the form table. We lost 1 out of our last 6 games. We did win 4 out of the 6 games and draw in the other game, and we all know what that draw was. That draw was at Wembley versus Spurs when we should have beaten the scum. The officials did us dirty that time. They did us over dirty. Never was a penalty because of the offside. I don't care who tries to justify the referee's decision and given a penalty. It was offside. London Old School and I talked about it 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. The linesman was 2 yards behind play. How could he even see? He couldn't even see across the line. But there was 4 Tottenham players offside. 4 Tottenham players offside. I don't understand that. We should have beaten, all things considered, we should have beaten Tottenham at Wembley before they move into their shithole toilet bowl sink stadium that they're thinking is the best stadium in the world right now. Fucking hate Tottenham. Love Arsenal. I love what Emery's doing. We're talking about Arsenal right now. Emery's doing a great job. Love what Emery's doing. Yeah, I agree with you. London Old School. He thinks the ref gave us a soft penalty for his first half mistake. Yeah, and Aubameyang, we love you, but you need to score a penalty in a North London derby like that. Hats off to Ramsey, legend. We love you, Aaron Ramsey, and we love Aubameyang too. Aaron Ramsey signed off with a goal in the North London derby. He loves Arsenal. Fair play to him. He's going to go play with Ronaldo at Juventus. He always wanted that big payday at the end of his career. Fair play to Aaron Ramsey. He's helping us. He's helping us get top 4. Hopefully, he's got a part to play yet in the remaining part of the season. Hopefully, wouldn't it be great if he could go to Italy? I bet he'll be up for that game against Napoli. We go to Italy. He'll be up for that game against Napoli. He's going to want to show his Juventus, his new fans that he's going to be going to. He's going to want to show them what he can do. I hope Emery uses him. Noe, once my friend told me which trophy would you like to see Arsenal, Champions League or Premier League. I said both. I agree. But we got to win the Champions League. Hopefully in my lifetime. Hopefully in the next 5 to 10 years we can win a Champions League. All right, so Arsenal. Anyone got stuff to say about Arsenal? Because I think we're doing great this season. Let's talk about Arsenal really quick. Arsenal really quickly. Emery had those two games at the start of the season, home to Manchester City and away to Chelsea. I took them as preseason games. Manchester City was an education for us, even at home. We have proven to be absolutely brilliant at home since. Our home form is first, and I think that is on maybe even on goals scored and stuff like that. We have a great home form, which is sustaining us to get to top four. Um, we went then on a 22 game unbeaten run. Some people got too high about it. Some people got too pessimistic about it. But take it for what it is. That was progression. We had Rob Holding in the team. Hopefully, Rob can come back in. That's why I think maybe we can just get one centre back, because don't forget we have Rob Holding coming back. No, he said. I hope home form is mad. I love it. Gundit news. I hope Emery gets manager of the season after the season finishes. No, he says, man like Ty and Claude. So our home form has been excellent. We have, let's count on my fingers, top four clashes. We beat Spurs in the Northland Derby. We went on to beat Chelsea when we really, really needed to. We would have been 9 points behind them if we hadn't beaten Chelsea. Uh, Recently, we beat Manchester United in a Titanic game. This is home form, guys. And we played a really, really good draw with Liverpool earlier in the season. The other two teams were, the other team was Manchester City. We're not at their level yet. We have to see what we're going to do in the summertime. Um, I think if we're in a position where we can go and get 2 or 3 players in the summertime and get rid of some of the players who are clearly liabilities, Lichtsteiner and Mustafi, 2 clear liabilities. Let's get them out of here. Let's get them out. I can deal with everyone else. I can deal with everyone else. We can work with everyone else. Emery's getting more out of players like Iwobi, like Torreira. Xhaka's not too bad. We might even touch on the Xhaka controversy toward the end, everybody, just to round out this conversation. But let's finish with Liverpool and City. No, no. Let's finish with Spurs. Now, players we hate at Spurs, I could name the whole team. I hate Pochettino. He's the coach. I hate Dyer. I hate Ali. And I hate Kane. And I definitely hate Rose. Danny Rose. Ericsson and Son. Those are just 6 players. I hate half the Tottenham team. Really, really hate half the Tottenham team. Tottenham, look at their form, everybody. 16th out of 20. They only won 2 and lost 3. And that one draw that they have was versus us, and they should have lost that as well. They have lost 3 out of the last 4 games. They went to Southampton recently, got beaten. We all talk about Danny Rose. He should have been suspended for what he did versus us at Wembley. But if he was suspended, he wouldn't have been on the pitch to let the ball roll through his legs at Southampton for them to score. I hate their shit stadium. They're talking about this stadium like it's the best thing in the world right now, but I hate their shit stadium. I hate Tottenham. Pochettino's losing it. They haven't won anything. They're in that difficult position. Yes, they're in a difficult position. They're challenging, but not winning anything. I don't care about I don't care about Tottenham. I don't care about Spurs. They can fuck off, all of them. I don't care about Tottenham. They're on the downward. We're gonna have a St. Tottenham's Day this year. They're on the down. We're on the up. Power shift. If there was a power shift, it's over. Let me tell you, it's over. Power shift is over. If it ever happened. Because did you win any trophies? No. You might have had more points in the league. We accept that. But we were on the downturn from a great manager for 22 years. We've had a manager for 22 years. How many managers and coaches have you had in 22 years? They're shit. I'm not one to go on rants, but this is a bit of a rant. I'm actually enjoying it a little bit. They're shit. And I don't have Gundit here to help me, but I know you're all talking about in there. I know you're all saying they're shit. Tottenham are shit. I hate Kane because he dives. They haven't won anything. They're always going to be a decent team, but you're not going to win anything. Now, I hope Arsenal can improve. Go into the transfer market, get rid of some bad players like a Mustafi or a Lichtsteiner, players we don't need. Even Kolasinac has stepped up this season. Put the players in the right place. Put the players in the right place. No, Adonis, Ray Walker, and Chill. You're funny. London Old School. Spurs will always be trying unsuccessfully. Been trying to better Arsenal for decades. Joke of a club, inferior in every way. Can't agree more with that. Gundit News. How Emery managed to get to this point having such a putrid defense. Gundit News wants to rant as well. Maybe we'll touch on this. We'll do a bit of ranting next week as well. But Tottenham are shit. The media love them. The people, the pundits, they love them. They've been talking about them for years. I don't get it. Why does everyone love Tottenham so much? I hate it. I hate listening to Dele Alli and how great they are, and Kane how great he is. He's England captain. He's getting preferential treatment from referees. He scores tab bins. Now you can't really argue with his record scoring, but I don't like Kane. I don't like Kane. All he needs to do is have a hand on his shoulder and he's down. He's on the ground. I listen. I don't rant very much. You know that I'm an optimistic gooner, but Tottenham. I hate 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 Tottenham. And you're right. You're right, London Old School. London Old School said they're all shit for club and country bottle jobs. They're a bottle job. We've seen it many seasons ago when Arsenal just scooped past them. They lost on the last day at Newcastle, 5-1. They're useless. They're going backwards now. I'm loving it. Loving it. They're gonna go to Anfield next weekend. They're gonna get killed at Anfield. I hate Tottenham. Just hate Tottenham. And even looking at the table right now makes me sick because they're 1 point ahead of us. I want to get past them. I want to get past Tottenham. I want to have a St. Tottenham's Day. I don't care if it's in April or if it's in May. I want a St. Tottenham's Day this year. I want them back in the Europa League where they belong. They can watch shit football in their shit stadium in the Europa League. We've been watching shit football. We're going to play Napoli. That's a Champions League type of game. But we're in the Europa League. We've had to take it for 2 years while we had a manager who was on the downward, and now we have a coach who's making us come on the upward. We're building a team. We're building a team. If we do well in the summer, add a few more pieces, we're going to challenge for the league next year. We'll be where Tottenham are now. I have been. Yes, we could challenge till February and we could fall away, but that's progression. That's progression. Tottenham are on the down. We're on the up. No, Donis, and that stupid Dali Alley challenge. He's an idiot. Dali Alley's an idiot. No, Donis, and he spits when he talks. That would be Harry Kane. That would be Harry Kane. London Old School. I was taught to hate Tottenham from a very early age. No, he does. The only that I hate more than Tottenham is my mother-in-law. Every time I'm on the toilet, I call it, I'm taking a Spurs. No, if it's okay, I'm going to steal some of your phrases. That's funny. I'm about to take a Spurs. I Spursied myself. I shit myself. I Spursed myself up. Shit my pants. London Old School, their new stadium will bankrupt them. We had the old stadium to develop. They spent over $1 billion in a shit part of London. I hope you're right. And you know what happened to us, London Old School, and we had to sell. We sold our better players. I can see that happening with Tottenham. They're shit. They're shit now. They're going down. Did I spend too long talking about Tottenham? Because we could go on, right? So I think I'm going to say Arsenal will be third, Manchester United will be fourth, Tottenham will be fifth. And I think most of you said the same thing. We did build a stadium at the right time. Um, Manchester United started the whole thing, but we did it at the right time. We needed to get bigger because of our who we are. We're the biggest team in London. We needed to get bigger. We need to expand, and we can sell our stadium every week. We can fill it every week. I understand Tottenham are having trouble filling their stadium. No, Adonis, Harry Kane is going to Real Madrid. You heard it here first, folks. Yeah, I would say that could be the case, Noe. He's going to go to Madrid. Uh, Better keep their mitts off of Aubameyang and Lacazette because these are two players that we need to build on for next season, along with Torreira, Bern Leno, Socrates, Bellerin, Kolasinac, Monreal, Xhaka. We'll touch on that in a little bit, guys. It will be. I don't know what's happening with Mkhitaryan. Maybe we can sell him in summer. Don't know what's happening with Ozil. Uh, Hopefully things are going pretty well right now. But let's finish this out. Let's get off the Tottenham thing. Liverpool and City will take them in tandem because they are going for the league. I think Manchester City will win the league. It's going to be close. I think Pep Guardiola is a better manager than Klopp. Gundit News thinks Liverpool will win the title. Gundit News and I want to tell you, I don't know if we did this live on air. We have a ice bucket challenge. Right, Gundit? If Liverpool win the league, I'm taking the ice bucket challenge. And if I will post the video on YouTube for everyone to see, for the whole world to see. And of course, if Liverpool win, I'll take the ice bucket challenge. And if Manchester City win, Gundit's going to take the ice bucket challenge. So Noe feels that Liverpool will bottle it. While I'm thinking London Old School says he has a soft spot for Liverpool and he hopes they win it. So all four of us are split. And Noe and I believe Manchester City will win it, and Gundit News and London Old School believe or hope or wish for Liverpool to win it. And Liverpool have not won it in many many years. I would not begrudge them a win. It's going to be hilarious. Whoever whoever has to take that ice bucket challenge. Now, it's got to be ice. There's got to be ice in it, and there's got to be water in it. Don't wuss out like you're just putting the ice cubes and throwing it over your head. It's got to be cold fucking water, okay? Let's do this right. We do this right here, okay? Players that I hate on Liverpool and Manchester City, I'm going to name them off in tandem. Mo Salah, I hate you because you dive all the time. Every time I'm watching you, Mo Salah, I'm literally waiting for you to dive, you know? And, Milner's another one. He's a bit like Ashley Young. James Milner, I don't like him either. Um, yeah, Gundit is going to be hilarious. Whoever has to take that ice bucket challenge. James Milner, I hate you. Firmino, don't like you because you're pretty good. So Firmino, you're pretty good. Salah, you're sneaky. I don't like you. On the City side, Aguero, you got a nasty streak in you. I don't like that. Aguero, you're a bit dirty. Kevin De Bruyne, you're a little bit the same. You're a little bit dirty as well. You got that nasty streak in you. Now, I understand if you're going to win the league, you have to have that. People, fucking Giggs is complaining about us, complaining about Vieira, complaining about Bergkamp, complaining about Petit. That's because we're fucking better than you, Giggs. And they hand it to you for every few years, quite a few years. Vieira, Petit, Bergkamp, they're better than you, Giggs. We don't fucking like you, Giggs. Fuck off. Um, Manchester City, Gabriel Jesus, hate you. You're a dirty little fucker too. So no, Adonis, I would take an ice bucket challenge, but I don't want to die from hypothermia. Ty doesn't like to be interviewed when it rains. Actually, he makes excuses for the team when it rains. Ty. Gundit News, most definitely a full bucket of ice and water, but Manchester City and Liverpool, you can't really hate them. Gundit News, I was thinking exactly the same, Ray. Ryan Giggs, hate you. I'm having to prove all your bad language, guys, but I'm okay with that. This is a rant show. This is a little bit of a rant show. Well, we can wrap it up pretty soon here. So yeah, I think we've decided we're split on who's going to win the league. Uh, two of us think Manchester City, yeah, and two of us think no, not. One of us will take the ice bucket challenge, whether it's Gundit or me. Van Nistelrooy. Oh, I loved London Old School. I loved what Martin Keown did. He's a legend for that. I met Martin Keown. I really should have said something to him about that. But when you're like, shit, I just met someone. You know what that's like, London Old School. You met Tony Adams. You're kind of lost for words. You're just happy to be there. Um, Ryan Giggs. Fuck off, Ryan Giggs. Hate you. That was real rivalry. Manchester United and Arsenal back in the day. Real rivalry. Wenger and Ferguson. I still don't know how they became good friends. Looks like Wenger and Mourinho is becoming good friends too. But anyway, players I hated through the years. Graham Lasso, Alan Shearer. I'm sure there was more Tottenham players as well. Uh, Robbie Keane didn't really like you too much either as a Tottenham player. You know. What a quick. So we'll sign off there. Two of us agree Liverpool. Two of us agree City. We all think we're going to get top four. We all think Manchester United will be fourth place. Tottenham will be Europa League. Um, we're hoping Wolves and Watford are distracted by the FA Cup so we can sneak in there, get some handy away wins. I'm going to put out a video later this week about our away form and how I think we're going to be able to survive these next 8 games. 5 of them are away from home, so watch out for that. The relegation zone, I believe, will be Brighton that will join Fulham and Huddersfield to be relegated. Adebayor, we hate Adebayor, former Arsenal player. Um, we love Van Persie, but then when he left, we hated Van Persie. William Gallas should never have been an Arsenal player. So this has been really good. Now let's quickly talk about Xhaka. Reports about Xhaka has said, and I believe he's been misquoted or misrepresented, or I think that his agent's trying to get him a better deal on the back of a Manchester United goal that he scored. But Xhaka has said that he's using Arsenal as a stepping stone, or this may not be. He's ambitious and he wants to move on. Maybe I'm misquoting him now, but that's kind of paraphrasing what he said. I believe it's all paper talk. What happens when you have no games for 2 or 3 weeks? You find generic podcasts like me and Gundit uh, trying to put out some content, but we're doing it for good reasons. Um, some press will try to spin certain things. Players will be interviewed away from at their international camps, and their quotes will be misrepresented and misquoted. London Old School says Xhaka can go if he wants a big ego. He's a moderate player. I agree with you as well, London Old School. If that is the case, let him go. It looks like Emery likes him, so why would he leave? I don't believe Emery's going to ship him out. He's one of the so-called five captains, and why would he be shipped out? If he wants to move, he can go. We can get players in. We need to identify them. Let's not worry about whether it's Monchi or who we're going to have, but I think we'll be okay. I believe it is um, a story, a press story, and people, when they don't have football to watch, they get kind of ravenous and crazy. And I'm just trying to put some content out there so we all stay a little bit sane. Um, and we're all doing things with our wives and girlfriends that we wouldn't do normally if there's football, you know. But Emery's true favorite, Xhaka. So yeah, well, next weekend we'll be back. We'll preview the Newcastle game next weekend. This has been a little bit of a rant. Technical difficulties that didn't allow Gundit News to be on with us, but hoping that next week that we will be able to have volume and sound and audio. And want to say I'm thankful for all of my existing subscribers, everybody that comes on the show every week, namely London Old School and Noe. Really appreciate your continued support. We will always we're here to stay. We'll try to put content out. Um, it was a filler show. Let's call it a filler show, London Old School. You've gotten to see me rant a little bit. This is probably as bad as you'll see me ever ranting. Usually Gundit's really good at that. But yeah, I hope we were able to fill a gap in your lives for today, and that gap is Arsenal, and we need Arsenal back. We have a summer coming up that we're going to be just looking at transfer news all the time, and let's hope we can get our business done earlier in the season like we did last year. Kind of gotten tired of the Wenger way of doing things, waiting to get value at the end of the transfer window. Gundit News, my co-host, thanks for coming on. Noe, you got to see me rant. We're going to do an ice bucket challenge. Hopefully, I win. And Gundit News has to do it. Thanks for coming on, Noe. Appreciate your time. And London Old School, thanks for coming on. We are out of here. Next weekend, we will have a preview of something concrete, an actual game versus Newcastle, an Arsenal team ready to play, ready to get 3 points, ready to respond to whatever Manchester United, Chelsea, and Tottenham will do. Cheers for coming on, everybody. We are out of here. If you liked this show, if you liked me ranting, hit that subscribe button down there, the bell notification, drop the comments. If you're watching it on playback, this is the place to come every Sunday. Gundit News and I, with special guests, we bring people into the circle, the Arsenal circle, and we are out of here for now. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.